Hello, sir. Do you have a minute to talk about Jesus Christ? Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. It's Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. You know who it is by now. And it's time to review the new Parquet Courts record, Human Performance. Parquet Courts, they are a Brooklyn indie rock outfit. This is their fifth full-length album. I was really anticipating this record because I enjoyed the teaser tracks. Plus, with each new album, the band is always trying something at least a little different, so... And with this new LP over here, we are getting a mixed bag of some garage rock, some 90s indie rock, and a little bit of art punk as well. A little bit of Wire coming through on the very raw and minimal and repetitive and just very simple instrumentation and riffs. And maybe a little bit of Silver Jews from the sincere and very frank and personal lyrics that are kind of poetic. And what gear the band is in sort of depends on the track, whether or not they're doing something left field or lefter field, a long 6-minute kind of hypnotic jammy rock instrumental, or just like a simple 1-minute weird detour. There's just a lot going on here. What can I say? Right from the opener of the album, we have the song Dust, which is not a metaphor. Andrew Savage is literally singing about dust. And I actually like this song a lot. I thought it was a pretty clever song subject. And the way that Mr. Savage sings about this dust on this record, how it's kind of coming in through the door, through the window, it's all around him, it's piling up, it's pretty oppressive. And his deadpan delivery on the song, I think, lends a lot of weight to what he's singing about. I also like the steady doom, doom, doom sort of guitar, bass, and drum groove on the track. Some keys are added in as well for a nice touch. The title track on here is a surprisingly tender moment, very sad, very dreary. Lyrically, the song seems to dive into some sort of nostalgia for better days. It seems almost as if Mr. Savage here is sort of in limbo between 2 points where a relationship was great and a relationship has been fully dissolved. But I'm not totally sure about that, as occasionally his lyrics can read as a little obtuse. But still, that does not keep lines on here about sort of living in darkness or what have I done and who have I done it to from being painfully depressing. Also in this song, out of nowhere, a very airy, grainy flute solo that I thought was a pretty nice touch. And this is one of several moments on here where all of a sudden a piece of very nice guest instrumentation or arranged instrumentation will just pop up and add a little bit of refinement. The song Outside is a piece of lazy but very clever slacker rock, and in true slacker rock fashion, it ends at the 1 minute and 45-second mark. And I also enjoy the equally short I Was Just Here, which is a track that seems to be about the fast-paced living of New York City and how rapid change can be. Being in a place that is always evolving can kind of give you this sense of just not being able to become familiar with your surroundings, and that sort of seems to drive Mr. Savage crazy on this track in a way where he sounds very neurotic and on edge. The lyrics on this track come to a head when it sounds like he wants to go out for some Chinese fried rice or something, and then the place where he got that Chinese fried rice is just like no longer there. I was just here. I was just here. The groove on this track sort of seems like it's pulled out of the very herky, jerky Gang of Four playbook. Now, life in New York City, in this very busy urban area, seems to inspire quite a bit of the lyricism on this record, although on the song One Man No City, the band delves into what seems like an isolation fantasy of some kind, where the instrumental is super jammy, super in the moment, a little repetitive, kind of has like a Velvet Underground white light, white heat vibe to it. And believe me, this is one of many moments on here where it seems like these guys are really pulling from that VU catalog. The track gets slightly tedious at 6 minutes, although I will say, when it comes to repetition and when it comes to linear, very groovy rock music, I think what Parquet Courts are doing here is worlds better than what they were doing on Sunbathing Animal. It seems like they've worked in more changes, more nuances. There's more tension in the instrumentation. We kind of change sounds and locations on the song Berlin Got Blurry, where we have these twangy guitar leads that seem almost like country or western inspired. It's kind of interesting to hear so many different flavors of guitar music coexisting on the same album so harmoniously. Whether it be the psych rock passages or the very dreary ballads like on the song Keep It Even, or the very aggressive and intense cuts such as Two Dead Cops, where lyrically this is like the most mayhem that Savage delivers on the entire album. Seriously, an emergency moment with bullets flying and people dying as he tries to put into poetry this really chaotic occurrence set to the soundtrack of these noisy ass guitars. The ending on here was a little bit of a snoozer, but generally I liked the album. I think this is the most I've enjoyed Parquet Courts since Light Up Gold. On this album, I think they're doing a better job of channeling their influences and the experimental ideas I think they've been employing for the past several albums and EPs they put out. They're going over better, and they're sounding more fulfilling over here. And I think the lyrics have seen a noticeable improvement as well. But Parquet Courts, I still feel like they're yet to kind of carve out their own style or niche. They're drowning in their influences a little bit on this album, and they pull a little too frequently, I think, from the Velvet Underground playbook. Occasionally, we have a so-so instrumental, and occasionally, I think the lyrics on here don't quite pack the emotional or the abstract or absurd punch I think they were going for. But still, this is a good record if you're looking for an artsy, a punky, a weird, a visceral, but also thoughtful and cerebral rock album. I would definitely recommend this. I don't think this is going to be one of my favorite rock records of the year, but Parquet Courts sound closer to making that than they have in a while. I'm feeling a decent 7 on this.
Transition! Have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You the best? You the best? What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe or you'll die. Parquet Courts, human performance forever.